Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Actually, I still can't see you. I put on this headset 3 days ago and I can't figure out how to take it off. Please help me. Well, if you're not going to, maybe I should ask Max here. Can you help, please? You're just staring at me. Great. What you're seeing here is a VR platformer called Max Mustard, not to be confused with Kevin Ketchup or Harry Horseradish. It was released on MetaQuest earlier this year, but it's making its debut on PlayStation VR2 on October 2nd, and it's received quite a visual upgrade. The texture resolution is higher, the lighting is better, and the colors pop more on those big, bright PSVR2 lenses. Right now you're probably looking at this game and thinking of another VR platformer that may or may not be Astrobot Rescue Mission. It's hard not to make that comparison, especially as there aren't many VR platformers in general, but with Astrobot Rescue Mission being unplayable on PSVR2, is Max Mustard a fitting replacement? While I can't answer that because I haven't played Rescue Mission, I still think Max Mustard is a good VR platformer in its own right. The game instantly begins with a cutscene introducing the main villain Roboctopus kidnapping a bunch of cute creatures called Mud Pups, only to be interrupted by a flying RV piloted by Max Mustard, who looks right into your very soul. Wait a minute, she flies an RV? RV? Like most third-person VR titles, you, the player, are a physical part of the game, and in this case, you're known as Max's navigator, following and controlling her every move. She starts equipped with jet boots, only able to attack enemies and break boxes by jumping on them. I was a bit thrown off by the overly simplistic controls at first, but it was a great way to get a feel for the gameplay, since playing a 3D platformer with essentially a VR camera would be a new thing for most people. You can unlock new moves later at the shop with the coins you've collected, like a twirling kick, faster movement, better jet fuel for longer glides, and camera snap rotation, which I thought would have been there from the start, but again, you don't want to throw so many elements at first-time VR users. Still, fans of 3D platformers should get the hang of this mighty quick, as it plays how you'd expect, with lots of platform hopping and jet boots with wall jumping. Max always has a circle underneath her to aid with landing, as it would be challenging to figure out her placement without it, and this can be felt when she's high up and the circle is no longer visible. Even with the circle, I had trouble landing some jumps, but that wasn't too often. It was easy for me to figure out what I was doing and where I was going, and it helped that the movement controls were solidly responsive. The goal of each level in Max Mustard is simple: get to the end and rescue the Mud Pups. But there are 3 additional Mud Pups hidden throughout the stage that are absurdly easy to find. So much so that I beat the entire game and only missed 2 of them. There are also these hourglasses that activate mini time trials where you collect the letters that spell mustard, but all they reward you with are a bunch of coins and they don't count towards 100% completion. You'll want those coins though because of all those sweet shop items I mentioned earlier. Anyway, there are a total of 40 levels in Max Mustard, some of which have their gimmicks, like stronger jet boots, platforms that swap back and forth between jumps, and music stages where the platforms change with the beat of the music. And I just found out that the tracks were made by a beatboxer named Tom Thumb, and wow, I wish I was that cool. All I can do is that one beat from Men in Black 2. My favorite levels in the game are ones where I, the giant VR god in this universe, take hold of a tool to interact with the environments as I move Max around. The first one is a vacuum that moves windmill platforms and sucks up coins and enemies, of which the latter can be shot back. The second and final tool is a plunger gun, which tests all the years I've played Rayman Raving Rabbids back in middle school. Remember those plunger gun sections? Just me? Okay. These stages are the highlight of Max Mustard for me, which makes it a bummer that there are only 2 tools and they're not in as many levels as I'd like. They feel great to use and bring new depth to these stages that would have just been standard platforming sections otherwise. I'll be honest, as much as I enjoyed Max Mustard, it plays things safely as a 3D platformer. There isn't a lot that makes it stand out from other games in its genre, so it comes off as very by the numbers. That said, everything still works as intended. There are no major flaws in the gameplay or level design that bring Max Mustard down to a halt. The only real problems I have with this game are the boss battles, as most of them are quite dull, only letting you dodge attack patterns until getting a plunger gun to shoot the boss. I'm just glad that there are checkpoints between phases because I would have lost my mind if I had to start from the beginning each time I died. So, despite its shortcomings, I had a fun time with Max Mustard. Its bright, cheerful aesthetic was a stark contrast to the games I normally play on PSVR2, like Resident Evil Village, and I enjoyed getting lost in its colorful levels. I just hope if there's a sequel, it expands upon the first game's strengths with more interactive VR stages, as those were easily the best part of my playthrough. I'm shooting plungers like it's 2006, baby. Yeah, Max Mustard is a solid game, and if you've never played a VR platformer before, this is a great place to start. It's fun and simple, it's got a great art style, and are you even still there? I can't see anything, I can't even hear anything, my headphones are stuck to my ears. Is anyone there? Blink twice if you're there. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller?